So I thought to myself today, I'd turn on 2K24, try some Money in the Bank ladder matches, cause well, it's Money in the Bank weekend, have some fun with it. And then I found out just how broken this match type, this mode in the game really is. One of the first things that really just, I don't understand why they did this, but Money in the Bank cash-in attempts in exhibition mode, they don't exist anymore. And I feel like I keep thinking that like, oh, it was there on day one with 2K24. No, it was not. For whatever reason, 2K decided that in exhibition matches, if you want to be able to do a cash-in attempt, you cannot. And what's odd is that we can go in and we can look at who the current Money in the Bank holders are within the menu. You go over to roster, Money in the Bank management, and you can see for both the men's and the women's briefcases or any of your custom briefcases, you can see who is assigned as Mr. or Mrs. Money in the Bank. What is the point of this if we can't even do the cash-in the regular exhibition mode in any type of match? It's been there for several years. I even went back to 2K20 and you can cash in by hitting pause in the menu and select cash in, and then the cash in happens. It's 2K20, it worked. At this stage and where we are with just gaming in general and the 2K franchise, we should be able to just do a breakout selection to be able to have a Money in the Bank cash in at any point during a match for whatever title we want. Sure, I understand assigning it to having it for like the world heavyweight title, for example, and being able to cash in, but in regular exhibition, you just watch a one-on-one match or you're in a one-on-one match. How is it that I'm not able to cash in on that champion at all? One of the things I'd love for them to do in 2K25 is, number one, put this back in because it just seems like a silly oversight or a weird thing that they would remove. But two, change it up so it's not having to pause the game and take me out of my whole simulation experience with it. Allow me to just press like up on the D-pad or the options menu button, and then from there it just allows you to do the breakout before the match happens, during the match, and post breakout for Money in the Bank. Some sort of button prompt to allow me to select, hey, do you want to do a run in or do you want to do a cash in for Money in the Bank because the current champion is in the ring? That would keep players completely involved in what's going on within the context of the match and totally spice things up. But to not have it in exhibition is a really weird thing. Now, the big one I had to look and really deep dive into was what's going on with universe mode and Money in the Bank, because it has not worked properly since the game came out. When the game launched for 2K24, and even myself, I had early hands-on access to the game, I was able to play through it, and Money in the Bank cash-in attempts did not work in universe mode, but it got patched and then it seemed to be working just fine. But there are some weird hiccups and limitations to it whenever you're trying to do a successful cash-in attempt. Number one, the first thing you can do obviously is just AI cash-in attempts. You could max this up to 10. If they're going to do pre-match, mid-match, post-match cash-ins, you could have that, and the AI is basically going to do like an announced cash-in on the next episode of Raw without you wanting that. For me, number one, I always just like turn that right off because I never want that to happen. But when we get into a regular one-on-one match, and let's say it's AI versus AI, and it's going to be your champion and it's going to be the challenger, you can't just do a Money in the Bank cash in. Once again, I can't press pause and then just do a cash in. That doesn't exist. It's all within the rivalry action system. And the more that I had been playing with this over the last few months since the game came out, and even up until now, I thought, wow, this really is kind of broken and really is not very fun, and it's very limiting for how you want to interact with Money in the Bank. The thing that I realize I don't like is that it has to be tied in with the rivalry. Mr. or Mrs. Money in the Bank cannot just freely get engaged with other opponents or tease a cash in willy-nilly and however you want. You have to put them into the feud, into the rivalry, in order to get into the cutscenes and do all that. And I understand the mechanic behind that, but again, very limiting. In order to get Money in the Bank to work, I have to go through and have CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in a match on Raw, and then do the rivalry actions and hit free mode in order to get what I want. This can either be a tease of Money in the Bank cash-in attempt by CM Punk onto Drew McIntyre, or it's going to be mid-match, or it's going to be a post-match cash-in. Now, I tried to do a whole Money in the Bank cash-in situation, and I involved Drew and CM Punk. I had Drew as Mr. Money in the Bank in this situation, and I had Punk versus Damian Priest for the world title. All I was trying to do was have Drew McIntyre cash in on CM Punk. I had it in free mode. They were set up as rivals. I think I hit everything like I was supposed to do. So the match happens and you can see CM Punk wins. Now this is AI versus AI. And once I did this, Punk's music hits and then it goes into a breakout. Drew McIntyre does not come out. And it happened over and over and over again and it got stuck in a loop, only until I intervened and I became CM Punk and I was controlling him. I would finish the match and then Drew McIntyre's music hit and the cash in happened. This is totally broken. This is not how it's supposed to be. And it goes hand in hand kind of with the most recent patch with 2K, that it broke a lot of stuff when it comes to AI versus AI matches. So Money in the Bank cash-ins just don't work at this point. And I gotta go back to this whole thing of having Money in the Bank cash-ins in universe mode only work with your rivals. Why? WWE TV is kind of just, it's all over the place with Mr. Money in the Bank or Mrs. Money in the Bank and who they want to cash in on. Sure, I can decide which title belt I want to go after, but I will want more of the freedom. Just allow me to cash in on whatever belt I want on the men's and the women's side at any point. Tease stuff at any given time, because that's what WWE TV would do. Tease the women's cash in Money in the Bank for either the world title or the WWE championship. Let me do a tease for the world title cash in or the Intercontinental title cash in without having to go through and assign which belt that we are going to attempt to cash in on. And again, the rivalry action system, while I feel like it has a lot of positives, there are a lot of drawbacks with this by keeping players very funneled in and very tight in terms of what they can do and experience. Having it as a sandbox and free mode in there, it actually doesn't feel very freeing, and it really doesn't give you the element of the sandbox feel because I am so limited. The other thing with this is those rivalry actions and selecting them. Setting up a rivalry between the two people and you have Money in the Bank involved in all this. I set up the highest intensity level, hit free mode, so I should be able to select anything and everything I want. Still not the case, because some actions when it comes to Money in the Bank are locked into that specific tier. Having it as a high level rivalry instead of highest doesn't really make much sense. So I can only do a triple threat Money in the Bank cash in attempt, like make it a triple threat match, if I have it set as high level rivalry. But if I go to highest, that rivalry action is not an option. Other ways that it seems to be broken right now in its current state, still on this rivalry action thing, because I would set up the rivals of Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, set it as the highest, and then the Money in the Bank options would appear or they would not appear. And then if I wanted that triple threat option in there, I changed it. I lowered both of them down to the high intensity, set up the matches. Still, the option still was not available. I had to delete the rivalry again and set it up again, and then it finally triggered. This is just too much. Like, it doesn't make it flow at all as a player. And you're also deleting rivalries that maybe you've built them up in your universe for several weeks, or it's an ongoing feud in your whole game, and like it just breaks the whole system and breaks the experience that you have to delete it all. Oh yeah, and you know the example that I just gave you of Drew winning the Money in the Bank off of Punk after all of the debacles of the glitch? Yeah, Drew holds up the title and then they announced him as Mr. Money in the Bank, not the world champion. It's just a small thing, right? Before we go on to the next thing though, I do want to give a shout out to today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by Royal 888. Royal 888 is partnering up with VIP Bets for sports betting platform, and they are able to take online sports betting to the next level, offering wages for a large variety of sports and different interests. So if you're somebody that enjoys things like myself, where it's MMA, boxing, esports, those betting options are available to you to take advantage of. The website is intuitive, easy to use, and great for you to be able to access for different things that you're interested in, such as the various viewing options under the live events. There's pre-match sections and allows you to manage all of your bets that you have placed. The Royal 888 online casino is a lot of fun as well. For somebody like myself, I actually do enjoy going over to the casinos and being able to play a couple of slot machines or play a game of poker. Blackjack is actually one of my personal favorites, but I'm not very good at it. But Royal 888 does a great job by having a variety of gambling options available to you all on their website. On top of the sports betting, they offer a variety of the casino games, including the slots, the poker, baccarat, blackjack, and more. What's also really cool is that they take it a step further and they allow these casino games available virtually through live streams, What's really cool too is that for new users like yourself, you sign up and you'll be able to get a first time deposit bonus. This is of 100% matching the user's deposit of up to $1,000. The platform's available across different countries as well. Canada, New Zealand, Ireland, for example. The platform holds licenses with both the Kanawaka Gaming Commission and Kurikeko. All players must be 18 years of age or older to play. If you're interested, check out the link in the description for Royal 888. Please play responsibly and enjoy some online play. I do feel like with 2K25, they really need to take a little bit extra time and give us more Money in the Bank options. It's such a cornerstone of WWE TV nowadays, and I don't feel like 2K is doing enough with this whole mode, this whole match type, this whole experience with it. We get 3 actions with the cash-in attempts, and they're locked to the rivals. You can do distractions with Money in the Bank within your rivalry, which is cool, but I feel like those cutscenes need to be freshened up. They need to give us different ones, different teases, and if they ever gave us the inclusion of backstage moments and backstage segments, teases for Money in the Bank cash-ins backstage would be really cool. If they ever brought back a promo system, it'd be really cool to be able to do a promo standing in the ring with a rival and one of them is holding Money in the Bank and telling them that, hey, they're going to cash in on the champ, or giving us more cash-in options available in general, not only for cashing in Money in the Bank on Monday Night Raw and announcing the cash-in, but having a preset cash-in to say, I want CM Punk to cash in Money in the Bank at SummerSlam. And then it builds the system that way, and it builds to that match with the champion and CM Punk. Universe mode also lacks the ability to just do, like I said, the normal regular cash-in attempt mid-match. I can't go into Universe mode, do the one-on-one match, press pause, and say cash in. Doesn't work. So then I went in and I tried to simulate and try out Money in the Bank match itself, the PLE. I tried to do the PLE itself to see what results I was going to get with a brand new fresh universe mode. Wasn't mine, just everything was set to default. So when I simulated to get to the Money in the Bank PLE, I got one Money in the Bank ladder match. For the men's side, there was no women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I go to the match table and it's interesting because the defaults in there do have 2 8-man, 8-person Money in the Bank ladder matches set with the championship selected, and it's going to be the main event. That is supposed to, by default, indicate to the AI and to the system, we're gonna have 2 ladder matches on the show. So I tried to do it one more time, but this time I had that Money in the Bank show that didn't work out. And then I fast forward and I created a second Money in the Bank PLE. But just to pause for a second, you're probably thinking, well, you could have deleted a match and then you could have added in the women's 8-person Money in the Bank that way, dummy. Yeah, you could have, but with the match table, it should have already done it by default. And that's kind of the point here. So when I went and created another Money in the Bank PLE a month later, I went ahead though with the settings and I adjusted the match table. So because I changed the match table, I put the 2 ladder matches at 100% chance of happening, both as main event and having it set as championship. But I made them as 2 separate lines. So there was actually 2 ladder matches set up. When I did this, it actually did give me both the men's and the women's ladder matches for Money in the Bank. But then I had the Money in the Bank ladder matches and I watched them, and I gotta tell you, 10 minutes in of just an AI simulated Money in the Bank men's ladder match, it's hard to watch. Also at this point, you can see on screen, Braun Strowman, somehow, he just got into the crowd. He glitched into the crowd. So Braun is out of the match. He cannot get Money in the Bank. Aside from that glitch, and he's in the crowd, which, can we not fight in the crowd too like that? That'd be kind of fun. But aside from that, Braun can't get back in. So people are just looking at Braun, like, what's he doing? And nobody in this match for 10+ minutes of simulating ever attempted to set up a ladder, climb the ladder, and retrieve the briefcase. It never happened. I had to turn it off and just simulate the match to see who would win. Then when I did the women's match, similar stuff. A lot of minutes go by, no one is trying to attempt it. But what's interesting is, at least on the women's match, I did see somebody try to set up a ladder and climb it and try to retrieve a briefcase one time out of probably another 10 minutes or so. So the frequency in which the AI is trying to go and complete the goal of getting the briefcase and doing that, it's not there. And even as I backed out of this and I went back into exhibition, I wanted to just do a 1 versus 1 ladder match for Money in the Bank on the line. And when I did this, I had Punk versus Randy Orton. It was a lot of fun. I was playing the match And then Randy Orton won Money in the Bank, which was great. I then went to the roster page to see Money in the Bank management, and it didn't register Randy Orton as Mr. Money in the Bank. Doesn't seem to matter anyways, because you can't even do a cash in exhibition. So tell me, has it happened to you? What glitches have you found, and what needs to be done to fix Money in the Bank within WWE 2K24 and 2K25? And if you guys want to talk more about 2K24, click this video right here because we go in depth on a lot more topics with it. Have a great day. See ya.